What if your home loan could pay itself off faster and at the same time quietly build you a second source of income using money you already have? No lottery tickets, no get-rich-quick scheme. Just a strategy plenty of Australians use that the tax office is completely fine with, but that almost nobody explains in plain English. It's called debt recycling. Let's break it down. Before we get into the strategy, here's the thing you need to know. Not all debt is created equal. There's bad debt, like your home loan. The interest isn't tax deductible, and the house you live in doesn't pay you any income. You're just paying it down with after-tax dollars, year after year. Then there's good debt. Money you borrow to invest in something that produces income, like shares or an investment property. The interest on that debt is tax deductible because the Australian Tax Office sees it as a cost of earning income. Debt recycling, in one sentence, is the process of converting bad debt into good debt without taking on any extra debt overall. Here's how it works in 3 steps. Step 1. You take some savings, let's say $50,000, and you pay it as a lump sum off your home loan. Step 2. You immediately reborrow that same $50,000 from the bank, usually through what's called a split loan. Step 3. You take that reborrowed money and you invest it into income-producing assets like a diversified share fund or ETF. Notice what just happened. Your total debt is exactly the same as before, but part of it, that $50,000, is now a tax-deductible investment loan. Same debt, different category. That's the whole trick. So why does this matter? Because the Australian Tax Office has a rule. If you borrow money to produce assessable income, the interest on that loan is tax deductible. It's the same rule property investors have used for decades. Debt recycling just applies it to share investments. Let's put numbers on it. You recycle $50,000 at 6% interest. That's $3,000 in interest a year. If your marginal tax rate is 37%, you get roughly $1,110 back at tax time. And what do you do with that refund? You throw it straight at your home loan. Now you're paying that down faster too. Now here's the part that actually matters. What's in it for you? There are 2 big wins, and they're the reason people do this. Win number 1, you save tax. Every single year. Not once. Not as a trick. That interest deduction keeps coming back, year after year, for as long as you hold the investment loan. On a $50,000 recycled amount, you're looking at over $1,000 back annually. And as you recycle more savings into investments over time, that refund grows. Win number 2, and this is the bigger one, you can retire years earlier. Think about it this way. Without debt recycling, your home loan is a 25-year tunnel you have to walk through before you can even start seriously investing. With debt recycling, you're doing both at the same time. You're paying off the house and building a share portfolio in parallel, with the tax office helping fund it. Modeling typically shows people knocking 5 to 10 years off their working life, or finishing in the same time frame but with hundreds of thousands of dollars extra in investments. Same income, same starting position, completely different finish line. Let's make this real. Meet Sarah and Tom, a couple in their mid-30s. They've got a $600,000 home loan at 6%. Combined household income of $180,000. They've saved up $50,000 sitting in an offset account, both on a 37% marginal tax rate. Here's what they do. They talk to their broker and split their loan into 2. They use the $50,000 to pay down one of the splits, then reborrow it as a fresh investment loan. That $50,000 goes into a diversified ETF that pays around a 4% dividend yield. Now look at the money flows each year. The ETF pays them about $2,000 in dividends. The tax refund on the deductible interest is around $1,100. That's over $3,000 a year, every year, that they redirect straight onto their home loan. Money they wouldn't have had otherwise. Fast forward 10 years. Without debt recycling, they'd still owe roughly $480,000 on the home, with nothing invested outside super. With debt recycling, assuming they recycle more savings as they go and the market behaves reasonably, they're sitting on around $95,000 in shares, and their home loan is $40,000 lower. Same family, same income. The structure did the work. So how do you actually do this? You'll need to set up a split loan or a separate investment loan facility with your lender. Most major Australian banks offer this. You just have to ask, because they rarely volunteer it. The steps look like this. 1. Talk to your bank or mortgage broker and split your existing home loan into 2 portions. 2. Pay your lump sum onto the new split. 3. Redraw that same amount into a brand new, completely separate bank account. 4. From that separate account, transfer the money directly to your brokerage and buy your investments. And here's the critical rule. The recycled money must never, ever touch your everyday transaction account. If it does, you've contaminated the loan, and the ATO will deny your interest deduction. Keep it clean. Keep the paper trail obvious. Now let's talk about what can go wrong, because this isn't free money. Debt recycling involves real risk, and you need to understand it before you go anywhere near it. First, markets fall, sometimes by 40%. Your $50,000 investment could be worth $30,000 at the bottom of a crash, while you still owe $50,000 on the loan. Second, interest rates rise. Your borrowing costs go up, and that squeezes your cash flow. Third, dividends can be cut, especially in recessions. Fourth, life happens. You lose your job, you get sick, you separate. The core truth: debt recycling amplifies both gains and losses. It works beautifully if you can hold through downturns without panicking and selling. It punishes you if you're forced to sell at the wrong time. This is a 10+ year strategy, not a get-rich-quick play. So, who is this actually for? Debt recycling tends to suit people with stable income, a decent chunk of equity in their home, a marginal tax rate of 30% or higher, a time horizon of at least 10 years, and, this matters, the emotional ability to watch their investments drop by a third without panicking and selling. It's probably not for you if your income is unstable, if you might need the money back in the next few years, if you're on a low marginal tax rate where the tax benefit is small, or if the idea of investment debt keeps you up at night. There's no shame in that. The best strategy is the one you can actually stick with. 5 mistakes people make. 1. They let the investment money touch their everyday account, which destroys the tax deduction. 2. They pick speculative stocks or crypto instead of diversified ETFs, turning a sensible strategy into a gamble. 3. They recycle too much, too fast, leaving themselves no cash buffer. 4. They don't keep an emergency fund, so when life hits, they're forced to sell at the worst time. 5. They try to do this on their own without a good accountant who actually understands the structure. Get the structure right, and debt recycling quietly compounds in your favor for decades. Get it wrong, and you'll either lose the tax benefit or wear losses you didn't need to. Let's bring it home. Debt recycling, in one breath, you keep the same total debt, but you convert part of it from non-deductible to deductible. You build a share portfolio in parallel with paying off your home. The tax office helps fund it. And done well over a decade or two, it can shave years off your working life. Now, the disclaimer. And please take it seriously. None of this is personal financial advice. Your situation is different to Sarah and Tom's. Before you do anything, speak to a licensed financial advisor and an accountant who knows debt recycling well. Get the structure right from day one. Your future self will thank you. If this helped, like, and subscribe. And let me know in the comments what you'd like explained next.